Hello, I'm the Beauty Professor, and you can find my beauty blog at www.beautyprofessor.net. I don't know about you, but I cannot believe how quickly March flew by. The fact that we're basically in the midst of April now is just wild to me. I think with every passing year, life seems to move more quickly. Perhaps that's just a part of the human condition, but I am reeling over the month that was March. It's a longer month and it just was like a flash. Anyway, with that being said, I'm excited to share with you today some products that I've been using and loving in the month of March. Some of them are new for my routine and others are old favorites that I couldn't help but include in this video because I've, in most cases, had some kind of newfound appreciation for them, so I wanted to elaborate upon that in the video. And onward with the product discussion. So first things first, my nails are painted and I am not a beauty blogger that specializes in nails, which is why I have a very limited supply of nail posts on my blog. But just to give you a sense of what's going on here, they're this kind of sparkly pale mint green with a little bit of aqua glitter thrown in for good measure. And this is the result of using this, which is the Revlon Parfumerie in Wintermint. Such a beautiful color. Just from an aesthetic perspective, it's just lovely to look at in the bottle. And when I saw this at my local drugstore, I was like, ugh, I don't usually paint my nails. I'm not crazy for nail polish, but I couldn't help myself. In addition to being endlessly lovely, it has, as all the colors in this Parfumerie line possess, it has a gorgeous mint scent. I wonder how can a scent kind of transcend the typical nail polish scent, but somehow Revlon's done that. I don't know what the science is behind that, but I'm completely impressed with the fact that when I smell my nails, I smell mint, not nail polish. So that's one of my discoveries for the month. I know it's been around for a while and I'm late to the game, but if you haven't tried these yet, it does appear that most drugstores have all of the shades at this point. I highly recommend them. A fun investment and a beautiful little bottle at that. While we're in the fragrance realm, I wanted to mention a couple of fragrances that I've been experimenting with and loving as the months are getting warmer and spring and summer are on the mind. The first is this little sample by Atkinsons. It's Atkinsons London 1799 Ode Save the Queen. This particular one has this really cool backstory to it. When I read the literature on the perfume, it has this 1920s feel and people getting together, commiserating in England, and the scent that kind of is the vein of continuity behind this whole story. Completely summarized on my part. But from a scent perspective, you know, stories are great, but what does it smell like? And it is highly concentrated, so just the tiniest little spritz is enough to experience this perfume. When I breathe it in, and I'm just going to do a description from what my nose tells me, it's a combination of kind of a deep woodsy musk scent, and that's the ode in that, as well as a sweet, almost sugary element, and some deeper, maybe licorice scents. It kind of feels a little bit like Hypnotic Poison meets an interesting Ramon Monegal fragrance like Curiel. It also has kind of a darkness to it like the Prada Amber that I know I've mentioned in previous videos. It's just fascinating. So when I just want a burst of delicious fragrance that's kind of musky and sweet but not over the top, this Ode Save the Queen has been a go-to for me, and I did just recently travel, and so I tossed this into my bag. Another fragrance that I have been frequenting this last month is the Maison Francis Kurkdjian Paris Aqua Vitae, and I may or may not be saying all of that exactly as it's intended, but I did do my best, in earnest. This is a perfume that I received from Neiman Marcus, and gosh, just the bottle itself is just captivating from a visual perspective. It's very streamlined, it's classic, it comes in this glass flacon with a gold, very heavy gold stopper on top, and the scent itself is cool, fresh scent, but it's not so cool that it leans blue. I recently read this article in the magazine about how fragrance can be categorized by the colors it makes you see or feel or think of when you breathe it in. And I often feel that when I'm selecting my own fragrances. Like, does this feel green? Is it more of a pink or a rose, a violet, a black? This is kind of a sparkling pale blue meets gold in my opinion, and not just because it visually looks gold, but because it's kind of this effervescent, fresh feel that isn't just like cool water. It's definitely a little warmer than that. And it's just the perfect fragrance for when you want a wash of freshness as you're heading out. It's not particularly mysterious, but it's not purporting to be. It's aqua vitae, water of life. It just is this very fresh, bright, golden, sparkling scent, and I definitely envision myself using it as we head into the warmer months. A few skincare items I've been using heavily the last few weeks. One is the Sunday Riley Artemis Hydroactive Cellular Face Oil, and it was released earlier this year. Now, it's the Sunday Riley line, and when it comes to facial oil, completely famous for the Juno oil, and I have run through an entire bottle of that. I was fascinated by the Artemis. The detoxifying elements were of interest to me, especially with all the pollutants in our air, the fact that I was in the midst of traveling a lot and just wanting to take extra good care of my skin as it's exposed to a myriad of potential hazards. Now, just like all of the oils in this line, it comes in this beautiful glass bottle. It has a dropper that is controlled by the top here. You only need a couple of drops, and it's easy to control how much you dispense. I only really ever need 2 for my entire face. You can use this day and night. I like to typically use oil at night so you can put it on and not be worried about how it may interact with other things you may put on your face like sunscreen or foundation. The Artemis is one of 3 oils in the current Sunday Riley lineup for facial oil. I've been alternating between the Artemis and the Isis. And from a fragrance perspective, this is very lemony, whereas the Isis has kind of a rose undertone. So if you're sensitive from an olfactory perspective, those might be things to consider. But I do find that the scent does dissipate within a couple of minutes, so it's not bothersome. And while I can't say, oh yes, my skin is 100% detoxified, because that's really hard to calibrate, I will say that every time I use this, my skin feels really fresh and balanced and smooth and clear the next day, especially when I put it on at night. So I certainly will be experimenting with this more, because like any good skincare product, it needs more than a couple weeks, maybe even a month, to be certain of its efficacy, but I did want to mention it in this video. Also, when it comes to skin cream, I've been working with the Darphin Ideal Resource Crème de Nuit Light Rebirth Overnight Cream. Good grief, that's a long title. And this is intended to give you like baby soft skin in the morning. So I've been alternating between the 2 oils, as I've said, in the day and night. And then I add another alternating element between the oils and a cream at night. So one night I might wear a cream, the next night an oil, just to give my skin both benefits. It looks like this, and it does have kind of a light apricot meets peaches scent that is just really fresh on the skin. It's emollient, but not so much that it doesn't feel like it absorbs. It actually absorbs very quickly, and I am really impressed with it. My skin in the morning looks luminous, it looks healthy, it looks balanced. The one thing about this cream is that it doesn't really claim to have any anti-aging benefits, and that's certainly kind of a focus for me at this point in life. So I like what it does to my skin on the surface. It does look fresh in the morning. I certainly would want to couple it with some products that have some very targeted anti-aging strategies or tactics as well. The final skincare item I've been using a lot in the past month is the freshly released Jouer Anti-Aging Moisture Primer. And Jouer came out with 2 new primers this month. One is for combating oiliness. It's more of a mattifying primer, and it also is skin clearing. And then this is the hydrating anti-aging one, and this is definitely aligned with my anti-aging quest. So this is one I was excited to try. It comes in this squeeze tip applicator. I've actually done a whole review of it on my blog earlier this month, and it just disappears. This primer is not tinted. It does not have any obvious illuminating properties like shimmer or mica. It's just super effective for giving me a canvas that allows my makeup to last much longer while under the surface working on maintaining hydration and fighting the aging process. Another favorite that I have been playing with this month is not new to my collection. In fact, I picked it up about a year ago. It's technically a primer, but it's one that I use really only for the eye area rather than the entire face. And that is the Serge Lutens Quant-A-Soie Base Détente. It's a makeup base. It comes in this little black square. It is entirely diminutive, very small for the price that one pays, but it's a cult favorite for a reason. Here, if you thought this was small, this is even smaller, but you just use the tiniest amount. It's very concentrated and you wouldn't want to overuse it, not because of the price, but because it would be more than necessary. This is just a light tap and you can see how much product is released. Now, I've had this for a year, I've used it intermittently, and I still have most of the product here. So it is one where looks are deceiving. Where I like to use this is in my orbital region. You just get the greatest brightening effect. And I typically put it on before I might follow with eye makeup or concealer, but I'll just show you the way that this works, just tapping it in. It's not really shimmery, it's just like a white cream, but it just lifts and brightens the entire eye area. Serge Lutens can be purchased at Barney's, New York, and that's where I got mine. So it's really only in one place, but it's just a really well executed product. Very specific, very targeted, but if you've tried a lot of primers and you're looking for this luxury experience, especially with just smoothing and illuminating the eye area in ways that I don't really get with any other eye primer, then I highly recommend taking a peek at this. While we're in the eye zone, I'll make mention of a few products that I've been using for the orbital region. One is the Tightline by IT Cosmetics. And this is not a new product, but it's new for me. It's a mascara with the most slender wand one could ever imagine. It doesn't have that typical brush applicator. It just has some tiny, tiny little ridges right at the base, but it's intended to create extreme darkness at the base of your lashes, essentially like you're tight lining with a liquid liner, but instead you're using the tip of the wand of the mascara. And it also then can be pulled through your lashes to create a mascara effect. So it's multi-purpose in that way. I typically follow up with an additional mascara, which I'll be talking about in a minute. But in terms of its efficacy, this is a really fascinating product because it does create extreme darkness in the base of your lashes. The brush is so diminutive that you can really get into this tiny zone in here. And we know that when it's very dark down here, it gives the appearance of more voluminous, very lush lashes because you have that instant pop of dark. So that's the IT Cosmetics Tight Liner Mascara. I'm really happy to have stumbled upon it. And I have the Surratt Relevee Mascara. Now I picked this up months ago. I have talked about the Surratt line at length. I absolutely adore it. And the mascara was one of those things, as I was running through another mascara at the time, which I like. It's one by Chantecaille. But when I finished that up, instead of rushing out to pick up another tube, I heavily started focusing on this mascara. This mascara is volumizing, it's lifting of the lashes, and it's just very deep, very long lashes that are also very full. All the things that you want from a mascara. The brush is fairly small. In a lot of ways it reminds me of the Kevyn Aucoin volumizing mascara brush, but this is not a tubing mascara in contrast to the Kevyn Aucoin. It does have little fibers. The fibers have not in any way irritated my contact lens ridden eyes, and so that's a good thing. The fibers stay put, but they really increase the length of your lashes dramatically. And I don't get any smudging, any fading, and no smearing. Once it sets, it's there until you take it off. So it's a stalwart formula with beautiful aesthetic effect. I'm wearing it on my lashes. I applied this like 9 hours ago and it's still in place and I haven't done any touch-ups. So I love this mascara, and I can say my mom, who has different lashes than I do, she has different lash concerns, she loves this as well. She's interested in a curling mascara that gives her a lot of volume and length, and she can't get enough of this mascara. So I highly recommend it, the Surratt Relevee Mascara. And finally, for the eyebrows, I've been working with the By Terry Eyebrow Mascara. Mascara yet again, but this is for your brows. I picked this up on a whim in Space NK, And I love by Terry. I've used many products from the line, but I'd never really looked into this. This is a on-the-go kind of grooming product that allows you to just sweep into your brows to create shape, volume, and depth. It doesn't deposit any fibers into the brows, but if you have already kind of shaped your brows and you just want to add that final touch, this will do this. Also, this is a great midday kind of freshen up the brows product. And since I have long days of teaching, I keep this in my makeup bag, and it's transformational when you want to touch up your brows halfway through the day without a lot of concerted effort. The last brow product that I've been embracing lately is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow Pomade. Looks like this. It comes in a little glass jar, and I picked this up in dark brown. Once again, my brows are much darker than my hair color, so I just go for it with the brown. I'm not about to try to match the natural highlights of my hair, so I just go with the brown and usually tend to go for dark brown brow product. I picked mine up at Sephora, and I used the Anastasia number 15 brow brush, which I purchased years ago and just busted out to work with this pomade, and it works really nicely. Now, I won't do a demonstration because I put some on this morning, and if I add any more, it's going to look really intense. But I will say, just kind of from a simulation perspective, I just put the tiniest bit. This is after using it for weeks. I just put the tiniest bit on the brush, and I just brush into the natural direction of my brows and then brush down. It creates fullness, it creates shape, it deepens the brows. They just look super well groomed with very little product. A little goes a very long way, and because it's this pomade, it's impervious to fading or melting, a brilliant product. We're getting to the end of this video, and I'm trying to move quickly because I would like to have some dinner sometime. My husband is diligently, patiently waiting for me, but I want to finish this before I lose all possible light. Okay, so on to a couple of eye products that don't have to do with the brows or priming. One is a concealer that I have used for years. It's the Clé de Peau Classic Concealer Beige, which is my color for the winter and even spring months. Sometimes I can bump it up to ochre in the dead of summer when I have kind of a golden color on my face. But right now, this is probably a color I could get away with all year long. Beige is just a perfect brightening beige color for most light skin tones. It just leans the slightest bit apricot, which combats the darkness that can accumulate under one's eyes. And I've used this in videos before. I do like to, as I'm getting my whole face ready in the morning, just swipe it under my eyes, leave it there, do my eye makeup, and then tap and blend it in and remove any fallout that might have occurred when I was putting eye makeup on. It's one of those products that receives a lot of hype, but for good reason. And this beige tube I bought probably, gosh, 2 years ago, and I still have plenty in the tube. So even though it's quite expensive, it does last a long time even with regular use. Also, a new concealer I've been playing with is the Physicians Formula Nude Wear Touch of Glow. It comes in this cute kind of bow rose gold tube, and it does have a brush applicator. Now, the Touch of Glow is intended to kind of illuminate, brighten, even out and conceal. It's kind of a jack of all trades, and it does offer pretty respectable coverage for a brush applicator, which sometimes is very sheer. It lasts a long time, and I can envision Touch of Glow, which is kind of a glowing golden beige. I can see that working with most light skin tones. The way I like to use it is as a touch up. I might just touch it along my under eye region into the corners here, maybe a little bit under the brow, just to brighten things and lift things halfway through the day, and it does a great job. You can also use it as a highlighter down the nose, maybe on the Cupid's bow. It's lovely, and it's not obviously shimmery. I like that we're kind of moving away from too much shimmer, just making it like very natural, dewy skin without that obvious glitter bomb effect. And then another eye product, this is more of an eyeshadow, the Napoleon Eye Slick in Sahara. It's made by Napoleon Purtis Set, which is his line that's sold at Target. And I tried 3 colors, but I absolutely love Sahara. I'll have pictures of it on the blog. Here's what it looks like kind of in a heavy wrist swatch. I don't want to throw off the focus, so I'll try not to make this get too close to the camera. At any rate, Sahara is just this very warm, pale, sheer brown that's buildable, and it has the slightest bit of shimmer. It's beautiful, and I go for this color a lot, but I haven't seen anything quite like this. It's also very affordable. highly recommend it. It's the Eye Slick in Sahara. In terms of base products, I've been loving the by Terry Cellularose Brightening CC Lumi Serum. I'm going to be doing a whole video on this, much like I did with the Cellularose blushes. I have multiple shades of this, but I'll say right now, preemptively as a teaser, that I love to custom mix foundation formulas lately, kind of a combination of many different formulas I've procured over the years. Make sure to add a few pumps of this in for illuminating and for just making the most radiant foundation formula out of many different formulas. So I'll show you how I do that in a future video. I'm really excited to show you my foundation mixing, and I hope that you'll want to watch as well. But in the meanwhile, this is a complexion product that I've been using daily for this entire month. When I'm not mixing foundations like some kind of chemist, I have been using one foundation, and that is the Eve Lom Lifting Foundation. I did a whole review on this on my blog with a myriad of swatches. In fact, I have swatches of every single shade of this foundation on my blog as we speak, as well as the tinted moisturizer. So if you're interested in either one and you're ordering it, go take a peek. I'll leave the links in the information box. But this formula is just lovely for medium coverage, buildable to nearly full coverage, lasting matte skin-like finish. And I will relegate the rest of the details to my blog post that discusses this further, but I did want to mention it in the video since I've used it a lot this month. The last complexion product that I'm so excited about, here's the first look of the Le Métier de Beauté Peau Vierge Anti-Aging Pressed Powder. I've been waiting for this September. I hosted the beauty event at Neiman Marcus in Fashion Island, and Mikey Castillo, the director of color for Le Métier, showed me his prototype of this, and they were hoping it would come out in a few months. It took a little longer, but let me tell you, the wait was well worth it. I wear shade number 2, which is what I wear in the Peau Vierge, which I use every day. And it is a silky, like on powder powder. It's not going to be like a foundation powder giving you full coverage, but it just blurs imperfections like nobody's business. It adds a bit of beige color to your face. It's great for touch-ups. I like to brush a bit over whatever foundation I happen to be wearing that day, and also just using it to freshen up later on in the day. It comes in this gorgeous streamlined Métier compact. It has a sponge at the bottom. I do have swatches of all 3 shades ready to go up on my blog very soon, and certainly I'll do an entire review of this, but I could not make this video without mentioning this because I did get it at the tail end of March and I was so excited. Finally, 3 lip products, and that is an extremely conservative edit of a lot of lip products I've been using this month, but we'll kind of do a couple in the medium to high range and one in the very affordable drugstore range. We'll start with that first. This is the Revlon Colorburst Lacquer Balm in 105 Demure. I wasn't really crazy about these big balm sticks like everyone else was. It just didn't really appeal to me until I saw this shade, which is like a perfect peachy pink with some shimmer and shine to it. I think maybe with the matte balm line that wasn't really calling my name, but this is just so luminous on the lips. I'm not wearing it. I'm wearing the other 2 shades I'm going to talk about, but I'm really happy with it. It also has kind of a minty aroma, and it's very affordable. Picked it up at my drugstore, tossed it in my purse. I even got my mom one. She loves it. Then there is the YSL Babydoll Kiss and Blush. I picked this up in 2 colors. I'll be doing a full blog post on this formula soon, but I will say that I've been wearing number 9, which I do have on my lips right now. Number 9 is this very pretty lavender pink. Looks like this. I'll have close-up swatches on the blog. But it deposits a lovely amount of color. This formula is intended to be worn both on the lips as kind of a matte wash of color, and also on the cheeks for a blush effect. I'm not wearing it on the cheeks, but I am wearing it on the lips, and I will say that it's very hydrating for a product like this. In fact, it's way more hydrating than the YSL Glossy Stains, which I love visually, and I always pick one up because I think I want to wear them, but then my lips feel morbidly dry after a couple of hours. I'm wearing it with the brand new Jouer lip gloss in Pink Glace, and this is just a shimmering, like liquid light pink. You can wear it by itself or over existing colors, as I've chosen to do. It just adds a very pearly pink that's more of like a rose gold pink, but not too dark. It's not too light and frosty. It's just like the perfect, well-executed, shimmery, sheeny pink. And I've been wearing it nonstop since getting it. So it works great on its own. It's very natural, shiny, kind of 1970s Ali McGraw look, or certainly over existing lip color like I've done with this particular shade, number 9 of the YSL Babydoll Kiss and Blush. And so concludes this video of March favorite products I've been using and really enjoying. I truly hope you found this video interesting and enlightening, and I'd love to know your experience with any of the products I may have mentioned. I welcome your questions and your comments and invite you to come visit me on my beauty blog, Beauty Professor, which can be found at www.beautyprofessor.net. Take care.